Okay, y'all, we back like I want to be. Y'all, I can't do that string yard, so I'm gonna do it my way. I can do YouTube string yard. I will not be doing the duck quacker string yard anymore. Okay, y'all. Now, as I was saying when we was interrupted by string yard, um, I had to go back to the old fashioned way, and that old fashioned way is the best way. So Mr. Sprinkle is back, y'all. And if you look at Mr. Sprinkle desk, he got a desk full of paper. Look at that paper on his desk. Look at it. Yeah, Mr. Sprinkle don't have no something with him that him, and then he got a prosecutor right there who is going to control his testimony. But I'm not going to play all of that because the guy sitting right there, the prosecutor, the one who asked him a lot of questions. Now we got Mr. Steele up here asking him questions. Now, a lot of things that Mr. Sprinkle is saying, I don't understand why. See, that's why you have to ask yourself who gave him that information. Y'all, welcome to the day 142 Young Thug YSL trial. Okay, if you haven't joined the channel, please do. Let's check Mr. The question that Mr. Shark is gonna ask him. And you wanted him to speak to you about who was at the Texaco, correct? I did. Okay. And you told him that your supervisor wanted to charge him, but you were holding things off to give him a chance to talk. Yeah, I mean, it is. Oh, sustained. Okay. And look at the judge, y'all. Look at the judge. All on her elbow, and I mean, they are so. I don't understand this ATL. Welcome to the ATL. She's sitting up there like she ready to go home. Unprofessional. Let me ask you this: was your supervisor Pat Dutcher at the time? He was sustained. Your Honor, may we approach? Well, I believe he asked him the question about his supervisor because his supervisor is one of the detectives. He act like one of the supervisors is his detective. I don't know. After Mr. Sharp, it was Mr. Weinstein turn to come up, okay? And Mr. Weinstein used psychology on him too, as well as all that presentation they got up there and all that. But Mr. Springer didn't get too sarcastic with Weinstein, okay? Don't nobody mess with him. But you just wait until Mr. Steele get hold to him with those megabytes. About when he asked him questions about that McDonald's and Detective Thorpe. See, Detective Thorpe was smart. He said he don't have his information no more. And by the way, where is Miss Love? She done messed up the case and disappeared. I don't see Mr. Kendrick's phone on there. That is correct. So you didn't do any analysis for Mr. Kendrick's phone on January the 10th, 2015. I was without records to analyze for Mr. Kendrick's phone. Okay, so you have no records of his phone on that date, correct? Correct. Yes. Okay. Thank you. And then he gonna look at the judge. Anybody else? She is so slain. Anybody else? They ain't in no hurry. Got to have Mr. Steele, baby. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Steele, silly. Very well. I'll actually let you know if I'm okay. Can I ask you some questions? Well, yes, please. Thank you. So,
this was set up in your office, and you specifically work in this case, I think you made it clear. I'm going to be very brief, but if I'm wrong, just say I got it wrong. Law enforcement officers with whomever, FBI, APD, GBI, whomever is working the case, eventually your office may get involved and summon or they give to you their work product or their files on the case. Fair to say? That's fair to say, yes. And then what you're doing is, because you're law enforcement, but you're the arm of the attorneys who come to court, you have to look at everything and prepare it or not prepare it for any type of charges. That's right. All right. And when I say charge, I mean formal charge. I know, ladies and gentlemen, know police can issue warrants, but warrants aren't an official charging document. That would be an accusation or a bill of indictment. Yes. When you got, and I'm focused only on this case, obviously, okay? When you get the file, you're getting the files from everybody who touched the case, as far as you can tell, from crime labs, from law enforcement, APD, GBI, whomever. I'm not eliminating, I'm not trying to keep out other agencies, but you try to get all those files together. Well, yeah, I try to get all the documents or whatever media that every agency that investigated the case has. I mean, I want to get as much as possible. Sure. Now, when you get the APD files, Atlanta Police Department files, and you start looking at them and reviewing them, I want to ask you if you can remember. Do you remember any notation from Detective Thorpe that he reviewed the McDonald's surveillance video?
Watch this.
From January 10th, January 10th, 2015, and he did that on or about January 11th or January 12th, 2015. I don't, and I feel like I would remember that. Tell the jurors why you remember that, if you don't mind. Well, the McDonald's, as they've heard,
He told you to tell the jury, not him. Turn around and talk to the jury. Because you know you didn't have no information and you don't even have no file because Dr. Thorpe said he didn't have his. Not Dr. Thorpe, but Detective Thorpe.
The McDonald's at Old Hapeville and Cleveland Avenue. 151 Cleveland Avenue. Yeah, I think that's the address. Whatever. It's at the intersection, at or near the intersection of Old. Yes, I believe that's the address what you just said. And that was said to be a rendezvous point in the parking lot of which. So I would have remembered it. I would have remembered it because, first of all, I've never seen that video. I've never seen any surveillance video from McDonald's. So if I were to read something and said,
"Look, y'all, see him lying. 1 minute he know, 1 minute he don't know. He nervous now because see he know he lying because Detective Thorpe said wasn't no video. He said he can see certain things, but he going by what he done studied on that laptop on his notes. So this is when he gonna turn on those megabytes and just start saying anything, y'all. Just listen to how nervous he is right now. And then here come his attorney, the state about to help him out. And then the judge.
From my law enforcement officers said they did review it, I would have said, well, I would have remembered. That would have been a big thing for me out of the video. So no, I don't recall any notations from Detective Thorpe about him reviewing the video and not obtaining it, presumably. So no, I don't remember anything like that. And if that video, if it's working and if it captures the area that this, what was your word, rendezvous? Is that what you just said? I think so. Okay. And the rendezvous, according to Mr. Copeland, let's say, it might be others, but at approximately 8 o'clock at night, January 10th, 2015, approximately. Mm-hmm. You could correct me, if my times are off. If that surveillance at the McDonald's captured actually meeting, then we would know who was actually there and if Mr. Copeland was being straightforward. Is that fair to say?
Sustained.
And see, you see the judge, she with him. She with him. She gonna sustain a lot of stuff. And look how she looking. She's telling them when to move, when not to move. Look, she might be. I don't know.
Did Detective Thorpe ever tell you, besides his file, did he tell you that he went out and looked at and saw or tried I don't recall him telling me that. It doesn't mean that he didn't, but I just don't recall it. It just seems like something that would leave a mental impression on me because again, I would have just thought, well, where's the video? I don't have the video. I would have liked to know that. So I don't think he ever did. In your experience,
He don't have nothing, y'all. He's supposed to be one of the lead detectives and don't have nothing. How can you prove something is something that you don't have?
I believe you said 2012, but it might have been 2009 with the DA's office of Fulton County. Have you looked at and subpoenaed whether or a grand jury or excuse me, a court's search warrant surveillance video from stores? I have, yeah. Have you found that after a certain period of time, some of the video is erased or deleted? Yes, that's the practice. The videos are all digital. I don't want to say they're all digital. There may still be people using tapes, but every video I've ever seen has been digital, and they only have so much room on the computer system that's storing the video, and eventually will start overwriting itself. Explain. First of all, this includes 2015.
Thank you. Explain that. Explain that. Thank you, Mr. Steele. Thank you. Explain that to the jury.
Yes. Okay. Tell the jurors what you mean. I know you're comfortable with it, but overriding itself, just explain that process from your experience, knowledge, and work with these. Well, just like every computer surveillance system, cameras are hooked up to essentially a computer. The footage is recorded digitally and stored on a drive, some sort of media in the computer, but that drive can only store so much data, so many ones and zeros, I suppose. And so once the drive is full, the system is programmed to just, it's not like a tape where it starts at the beginning of the tape and starts overwriting it, but it starts writing data to the parts of the drive that already have data on it. And over time, the data just starts to rewrite itself.
Only thing Mr. Sprinkle has have done since he been on the stand was to sit there and told us about his knowledge, education of being a detective, and how this, when this, why this, and what this. That's the only thing he doing. He don't know what he talking about.
Actually, after a certain amount of time, all traces of the footage from a certain date will eventually be gone as they've been overwritten by data from other footage. So just putting that on it, make it simple on a date. Have you seen surveillance video that lasts 30 days? I believe so. I don't want to throw out any names, but
I believe so. Professional. You should know so. Professional.
there's one place in particular that comes to mind, but it's not relevant here, and I also don't remember exactly, but I do believe that 30 days I have seen before. Okay. What's a typical days that until it starts overriding? I'm impeaching Detective Thorpe. I feel maybe 2 weeks. That's always what I kind of mark in my mind as if it's within 2 weeks of an event. I mean, you want to get the video as soon as possible to be.
He can't remember nothing, y'all. He hasn't. Poor Jerry over there. He haven't answered no question. And she gonna stop, but I don't even want to hear no more of Mr. Sprinkle. Mr. Sprinkle can't even answer the question. So after lunch, uh she can ready to call lunch in a minute because still say he got 2 more hours to go. Since he don't have that laptop and everybody took that up there, went to take the stand. Now this is after lunch, y'all. Everybody took there. He got all that thousand of paperwork. Even the judge asking, what are you looking at? What are you reading from? He probably got all that paperwork that Miss Love gave him and downloaded out his computer in his office. And then he don't need it because the question that still asking him, he can't answer. Now he about to give y'all the education of the paperwork that in his hand, not what happened. No evidence, no nothing.
Well, so I don't recall Mr. Garland Arlington, or excuse me, Mr. Copeland pinpoint the exact times that any of these things happen. We may just have to deduce it based on everything else in the case. So to be exact,
What? We gonna have to basically do something else. So what y'all trying to say that? See, that's why the state want everything changed because all that paperwork that they got ain't no good since they got that judge right there. They wanted to reconsider what I said earlier this morning. Motion to reconsider her ruling on something happened yesterday. They do not have any state do not have nothing that can work against this RICO. We haven't even got to the RICO yet. When the RICO gonna come in? This is not a RICO case. This is not a RICO trial. He can't even answer. He don't know.
that he ever said, I was in a car with these people at this exact time. Let me do it a little differently then. From the McDonald's going to the Sky House, he had traveling with him Mr. Garlington and Mr. Demise McMullen, Demise McMullen, also known as Nard. Yes. According to Mr. Copeland. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you have the handsets of Nisha Williams and the handset of Demise McMullen, also known as Nard, contacting one another around the times that this Mr. Copeland's car would be traveling from the McDonald's to the Sky House, if he's true. That is correct. All right. Do you know of a reason that people would call one handset to another handset in the same car?
Sustained.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Copeland's claim on June 10, 2015, that he traveled with his phone that we have, that he says he had with him, from the McDonald's to Jeffrey Williams' Sky House.
He sure did. Look at him looking in his notes, y'all.
15 approximately. I'm using 8 o'clock time. I understand 7:53, whatever, but around that time. Do you have any
Look, y'all. He digging in them notes. He don't know nothing.
phone records to show on Mr. Copeland's phone that he says he had with him that he was ever using a tower near the Sky House of Jeffrey Williams after leaving the cell tower at the McDonald's on the evening of January 10, 2015? From what I remember, it would that he did use a tower near the Sky House at 11:14 p.m. that evening. But that's what
He lying, y'all. He is marking what Steele is saying, still laughing. He's smart. He just smart what Steele just said. He don't know.
I mean, obviously the records are in evidence, but yeah, 11:14, short answer. But according to Mr. Copeland, he's leaving the McDonald's and driving to the Jeffrey Williams condominium located at the Sky House on the exact date and time that we're talking about, and he went directly there. I don't know. That's what I recall. He did say, I don't know if he said we went directly there, he just omitted that they made pit stops along the way, but my recollection was that the short answer to your question is I don't know if he said they went directly there or not, or if that's what he meant to say. But yes, the phone didn't travel from the McDonald's directly to the Sky House. Okay. And Mr. Copeland also told law enforcement on June 10, 2015, that from the McDonald's at the appropriate time that we're talking about, the date we're talking about, on the way to the Sky House, he followed the vehicle that contained Jeffrey Williams, and Mr. Kelvin Treadwell. And
Look, y'all.
remember that? I do. All right. And Kevin Treadwell's nickname would be OG Bentley. Is that fair to say? Yes, that's right. All right. Understanding Mr. Kelvin Treadwell's phone records, does Mr. Treadwell's phone records indicate that he is at or near a tower by Jeffrey Williams' Sky House condominium on June 10, 2000?
Look, y'all. Look.
After being down by the McDonald's area. Do you mean January 10th, 2015? What did I say? June 10th. No. I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. Okay. I do not. I'm referring to my report to refresh my recollection, but I don't recall
Nope.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm done. You stand by your answer. I stand by my answer. Okay. Do you have any physical evidence, eyewitness, surveillance video
Look,
that
yeah.
Mr. Treadwell, Kelvin Treadwell, actually had the killing weapon or the other weapons that were used at the time of the shooting of Donovan Thomas and the other two people, as stated by Mr. Kenneth Copeland on June 10th, 2015?
Okay, well, he's making a whole lot of objections, so, overruled as to relevance, and he's not limited to the phone records, so overruled on that, and what was the other one?
I don't know what he's talking about.
There's been 10. Okay. Do you remember Mr. Copeland stating that Mr. Treadwell had, or O.G. Bentley, also known as O.G. Bentley, had guns that were used in the shooting of Donovan Thomas and the other two people in his car given to him around the McDonald's 2010 that we're talking about? Yes, he said that. Do you have any physical evidence, surveillance evidence, anything to corroborate that those guns were actually in that car at any time? We'll give it to Mr. Treadwell. No. All right. Now, I want to ask you to educate the jurors if you
Look, y'all. Look. Still is sticking him with all those megabytes.
are aware of what a geofence is. If you're not aware, just say, I have no idea. Yeah, I'm aware of what geofence is. I'm aware of what a geofence is. We're talking about the variant that Google produces. Yes. Can you explain to the jurors what is a geofence and how it works and how you use it in your everyday or whenever it's needed in your duties as a district attorney working with law enforcement? Okay, so basically, Google has compiled over the years the general locations of Wi-Fi signals, and there's a variety of means they've done this, but it's a
See, he happy to talk about that. He happy to talk about that, but he can't talk about this case. He can't talk about what happened in this case.
obtain the actual 911 call from a handset associated with Alexis Greer, the actual words. No, I don't recall anything about this 911 call, so I can't imagine that we obtained it unless it's just completely slipped my mind. But no, this is
What?
Let me just show you something, see if it refreshes your memory. If it doesn't, just say does not help. Okay. Okay. Your Honor, may I approach you for a minute? Just go behind. I'm gonna walk right behind. Okay.
Get him still. Get him.
That's correct. All right, I'm now talking about Mr. Zachary. Yes. Also known as another little D. All right. You were present at the April 13, 2017 recorded interview with Mr. Zachary. Fair to say? Yes, I was there. And you were there with other law enforcement, including Detective Thorpe, Detective Dennis, Detective Gaither, I believe. If I'm leaving someone out, I'm not trying to. Yes, that's correct. You were not present for the August 5, 2015 interview with Mr. Zachary, but you referenced it today with Mr. Body and you've reviewed that. Fair to say? That's right. That's also audio video. Fair? That's correct. In the August 5th, 2015 interview that you recorded, that you reviewed, that was recorded that you reviewed, did Mr. Zachary make it clear that Mr. Williams did not know about the killing of Donovan Thomas till afterwards? From what I remember, yes. He did talk. Yes, the short answer to your question is yes. In the April 13, 2017 interview with Mr. Zachary, did he say something similar? I don't recall how much detail we went into said the same thing. He at no point implicated Mr. Williams. I'm going to ask you the same exact question, same dates. We'll take them one at a time if it's okay with you. Start with the August 5, 2015 recording that you reviewed first. The tour bus shooting of a gentleman, a phenomenal artist, Dwayne Carter, also known as Lil Wayne. You know who I'm talking about? I do. All right, that's April 26, 2015 date. The shooting of the tour bus. April. Oh, yes, yeah, April 2015. Yes, that's correct. Okay. And is it fair to say that Mr. Zachary, at the August 5th, 2015 interview, you were not present for it, but you reviewed, said that Mr. Williams had no involvement in that whatsoever, and Lil Wayne, Jeffrey Williams, idolizes Lil Wayne? I don't remember, since I wasn't working on that case, but so I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember him mentioning it, and he did not mention that Mr. Williams was involved. Same question for you, August or April 13th.
I can't understand everyone gets up here and said the same thing. Did nobody mention Jeffrey Williams? Who is it that want Jeffrey Williams down? Even he said it. Mr. Sprinkles, the man with the laptop, texts and all that kind of stuff.
If it came up, tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, Mr. Zachary again stated Mr. Williams was not involved in the shooting bus of that tour bus. That I don't recall it coming up during that interview. Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you remember Mr. Zachary stating that Mr. Copeland was responsible for shooting TIG? Do you know what TIG Studios is? You know what I'm talking about? Metropolitan Parkway? Yeah, 675? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you remember Mr. Zachary explaining that Mr. Copeland fired bullets into that establishment?
Okay, maybe you just speak up a little bit.
It's in the recording that was played for the jury, that was reviewed by Mr. Sprinkle, and Mr. Abadi asked Mr. Sprinkle about that same interview.
Sustained.
Do you recall Mr. Zachary stating that Mr. Copeland and Tay, do you know who Tay is? Tay, T-A-Y. I'm spelling T-A-Y. Which Tay? Threat. No, I don't recall this. I do not remember this. Do you remember Mr. Zachary stated that Mr. Copeland and another person were responsible for shooting Rich Homie Kwan's father at the barbershop? Different barbershop, not the January 10th, 2015. No, I don't remember that. Okay. All right, let's talk about all the work that you talked about here and your studies, and I'm not mentioning
I told y'all.
reviewing interviews.
I told you. Only thing he talk about his studies, his interviews. He had never spoke nothing about this case. They look like they didn't put Mr. Sprinkles in the case. They place him right there.
Variants of context that they don't like, you have to ask somebody from the sheriff's office about that.
You see, look, listen. He's getting scared now.
Mr. Sprinkle, as always, thank you so much, Your Honor. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, are there other defense counsel with questions for this witness?
Y'all ask.
Oh, you do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stand up, honey, and speak. Y'all go and say what y'all got to say. Jill don't do nothing but drink. She gonna gain some weight.
Michael Sprinkle, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Have a few questions for you. When you testified some days and weeks ago, you were giving the jury some background in terms of how long you've been with the district attorney's office, right? Yes. And you talked about some of the various roles that you've had in the district I'm not post certified, so calling me an investigator is more of a.
What? Shut up, y'all. He's not certified and he's not an investigator. Now, I'm talking about for me. I thought I heard he said that he was an investigator. So what is he? Is he sitting in there listening to what they're talking about? A telephone expert? Lord have mercy.
Question. Yeah, no, I don't. Were involved. I'm asking you if you were. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have any memory of that. Okay. Are you familiar with Google image search capacity? Yes. When you upload an image into Google and it tries to find like